Hi, as you know, I'm Kaylin, and today we're going to be discussing how to create and restore backups. It is crucial for you to do backups at least, uh, let's say once a week or so, depending on how much data you've got. Obviously, once a day is even better. The longer the period is between your backups, the more information you could possibly lose then if you don't have that backup. So you have to do backups regularly, and also preferentially not on your local computer but on either a server, or perhaps another drive that gets a backup drive that gets taken off site or something like that in case anything would happen to your system, you do have a backup off site there. So now this backup gets done through a separate module called the backup module, which can be accessed through your start menu in all programs. You'll find it in there. Now you'll see also that when you do go and open up your backup module, you will see that on the top left hand side, let me just open mine up here. On the top left hand side, you will see that it says alerting TNA server. So what this does is it basically releases any files that were perhaps collecting clockings or processing any information or anything like that. It releases those files in order for the backup module to actually run correctly and do those backups and not cause any data corruption while doing this backup. Now that is also important to remember when you've got external backup programs that run. Let's say your IT guys have set up the server to backup once every evening or whatever, or every night to do it's procedure they are backing up. It could be that your TNA server is still collecting any clockings or processing hours, which could cause data corruption. Now there is a feature called quiet time, which we'll go through. I'll show you where to set that, which if you do have an external backup program, you can set the quiet time of TNA then, so that backup can run then. Obviously you cannot access the program then when that quiet times run because it releases any files there then. So okay, so we're in the backup module now. If you want to start a backup, you can click on the start backup icon, which is the green arrow. You can specify where you want that backup to be done, which you can just then go and click on the question mark and select then where that is. I'm going to leave that on my E drive. You can specify then whether you want a backup to also be emailed to the support staff. That is then dependent on whether you've actually got an email configured in your configuration module for that. And you can also specify whether you want to close the backup module once it's done its backup. Once you've specified that information, you simply click on start and it'll run through the backup and compress all those files. Once it is actually done with that backup there then, it'll tell you that the backup is complete. And okay, sorry, I forgot I ticked there for it to close the module. So it'll close that module down then, and that backup has then been done. If you want to restore a backup, then you would also go back to the backup module, and this time you will click on the restore backup icon. So I'm going to open up that backup module again. Let's move it over to this screen, and then we're going to click on the restore data from icon. Now you will specify your backup file that you want to restore from. Obviously the backup file that I have made is on my E drive, and we can go and see if we can find that there. Here is a backup, and you can obviously see then the dates and the time of when that backup was done. So you can then specify whichever one that may be. Let's just select this one, open, and then you can also, depending on whether you are restoring into a brand new data set or whether you are restoring into a data set that you've already, that's already been there. You can select if you only want to restore specific files. This requires log files to be in your data folder, so you would need to actually have had that data on the system before to have those log files that are created there. If it's a brand new installation on a new PC or something like that, for argument's sake, and you're restoring that, you would not be able to use this function here. Okay, so we're going to use the basic one, and we select our backup that we want to restore to. We just click on next, or restore from, sorry, we would then say where do we want to actually restore this information to. So you can either then restore it back to the original location, which is where your data was and where the backup was done from. That would then restore it back to there, or then you can obviously go and specify a other location, and you could then go and browse for where you want to do that. So if you're happy with the original location, you can click on start and it'll simply restore that information, and that will obviously be there. Now, like I say, depending on when your backup was done, there is a possibility of you losing some information. If your backup, is a week old or is a month old, obviously you're not going to have the information which is up to the current date then. So then we've got the other option where we set external backups that can get done. For that, you would need to set up quiet time. So we're going to move over to the configuration module now. And I will show you how to set up the quiet time for that you can just, so let's move this over here. We can go to our server options in the configuration, and you'll see there's a quiet time section there. In quiet time, you can specify, from which period to which period do you want the system to basically, be on in the quiet time, in order for it to do backup. So let's say, that your IT guys does a backup at 11 o'clock every night for argument's sake. They would do that. You can specify from between 10 and let's say even 1. That somewhere between there they're going to be doing backups there. And this will then release those files that are needed there then. Also, if you've got the server module open, if you've got the server module open and you actually open up the backup module, you will see that in your server module it'll actually show you that the backup module is running. So that also just is an indication that it is busy with a backup, and that those files are obviously released. It won't collect any clockings or do any processing in that time then. And that's how easy it is to actually create a backup and to restore the backup then. Most importantly, you obviously need a backup to be able to restore that. So it is very important for you to do that, and try and make that a habit to do these backups. Then you can also schedule then under the Windows Task Manager, you can set up for it to do a auto backup using the backup module to actually do that then. So you can set that up, let's say at 5 at night or whatever, just before you go home, to quickly run that backup. And that's backups, as easy as that. I hope you have learned something and that you will join me next time. Goodbye.